What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. Any other, what the world could offer me just held me down, had me questioning, does this even matter, do I matter? Then you came as sunlight breaks the clouds, with rain washed over me, I feel complete, your radiance has changed me. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You make me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. Nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable.
You're listening to Positive Power 21, Christian media on late night radio.
Good morning, family. Good morning. Welcome to an episode at the Breakfast Table with Pastor Jack and friends. We hope you enjoyed this episode and have a blessed weekend.
Good morning. Good morning. You're live at the breakfast. There's so much in America. I don't know where to begin. From the Bulgarian stepping out of the White House, out of the Oval Office, to Trump's lawyer arranging to have a porn star paid on silence. And so many other things. So, I want to welcome to the table our Facebook at H2WPJ, at H2WPJ, of course, on Twitter at _H2WPJ. And you can follow us on Instagram at H2WPJ as well. I got to say, on me this morning, I got Professor, who we call, and I don't know what you're looking at, Dr. Walton is here to help us address some of the so-called make sense of some of the things that are going on in our America today. So I can't wait to get into it. Sam, what's up, man?
Yes. What's up, brother?
What have you got for us?
Yes, so our president has declined to journey to London this week for the grand opening of the new United States Embassy there in Great Britain, which, of course, is in the capital city of London. And check this. It's Obama's fault.
Yes.
The reason why he's not going, it's because of former President Obama.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
Yes.
Because, in the president's words, it was a really bad deal. They sold the old embassy and the property, and they built the embassy, where they built it now. But because he's so uninformed, and because he knows absolutely nothing about international policy or diplomacy, he would understand the reason why we moved our embassy was because of a worldwide national security initiative that the State Department is taking in light of Benghazi. Okay. We want to make sure that all of our diplomats around the world are safe, and we only have so much control at our diplomatic installments across the world because, of course, they're in other countries. So we can send agents, we can send, security personnel, but at the end of the day, we really have to work, closely with whatever law enforcement and national security team that our allies have. And like I said, in the wake of Benghazi, in the wake of the terrorist attacks in London, the National Security Agency thought that it was best to put the new embassy where they put it because of security purposes.
Right.
But he thinks everything is about, a deal. A deal. It's all about a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is all one big, so.
Well, just last week.
I say all this to say, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, just last week, noticed that the president realized or made us aware that the briefing room, no. The White House is more so a production studio. And he said, what did he say? I hope I gave you guys some good material. Was that what he said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so London's mayor responded, who is someone of Indian descent, actually the first one in the history of the city. He basically responded and said, President Trump isn't coming because he knows that we don't want him here. They actually passed a resolution in the House of Commons, basically agreeing not to welcome him to Great Britain.
So you can come. We just not like you're here.
Yeah, we're not going to roll out the red carpet. We're not going to do all the bells and whistles, all that stuff, And he just basically said he's not coming because he knows his attendance is going to be protested. So once again, just another way of this guy trying to distract and trying to make everybody believe that he's liked and loved. So whatever.
Right.
Also, this is also very interesting to me. This came across my news feed on yesterday. So women in Saudi Arabia attended their first soccer match. The Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, who is 32, in October 17, announced some ambitious reforms to, I guess, well, I don't want to say that. I'll just say some reforms. And the women in Saudi Arabia, they were able to attend their first soccer match this week. Apparently they had, and I'm not, too well-versed on the app, on all of the tenets of family law, but I will say they had, according to the article, according to CNN, they had separate entrances for families where there were women there actually taking tickets. And then, of course, the separate entrance for the men. So the women were able to attend, but you had to be with the family. You can't come by yourself.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a little, it's a little reform.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think that's very interesting. And I know a lot of us, in westernized culture, we look at that culture with the judgmental eye and say, that's, chauvinistic, how they're, treating women. But, I mean, when you talk to a vast majority of women, especially in Saudi Arabia and in the UAE, I mean, it's how they, have grown up, and it's, what they're used to and how they interact with men, and it's a part of their culture and their religion, and they're fine with it. They don't feel oppressed. They don't feel, marginalized or anything like that. At least I haven't spoken to anyone that has. So yeah, I just thought that was very
feel like
interesting.
this was a step in the right direction.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
we all know.
Yes.
We all know what the big to-do is, our president.
Yeah. Well, wait, before you get into him, let's stay on a positive vein. Let's talk about 2020. 2020. Now, I know you're chagrined. I understand. But I want to know your perspective. And I also want to hear Dr. Proctor's perspective on the big O in 2020. I mean, I'm with it. I'm here for it.
I'm not for it. I'm just going to be honest. I love her. I just because she made a good speech, I don't think they qualify.
No.
I'm sorry.
Her
Go
track
ahead.
record speaks. Listen to her track record. You get a car. Everybody.
You're right. Get one.
Everybody.
You get loan forgiveness. Everybody gets loan forgiveness.
A50. Everybody gets this. Everybody. Not just you, but everybody. And I'm with this. With this, bruh.
Y'all are too much this morning.
What's up, Doc? Doc? Yay or nay to 2020?
Okay, so I am definitely a huge supporter of Oprah Winfrey, and her community service, again, is just unparalleled, especially if you're comparing it to what it is that we have right now. And I say, why not? You're talking about someone who is educated, someone who is, empathetic and compassionate, and someone who has, great relations across the United States, and not the United States, but across the globe. And after what we are enduring right now, and then we still have 3 more years of this, we're going to need somebody like an Oprah Winfrey that somebody just respects just for her humanitarian acts. So I think that she would be a great transition to, maybe someone else like what's the gentleman in Jersey? Is it Corey? What's his name? Corey. Like a Cory Booker, or, someone, to come in and kind of maintain what she's able to, transform, because we're going to need it. I mean, who else could do it? Who else could do it after all of the Trump, foolishness?
Exactly. You have to find someone who you can pit against Trump and not be, and this person cannot be swayed politically or professionally. Oprah can't be swayed politically or professionally. Neither could Trump. And because of the money and the stature that they would have garnered prior to this level of leadership, you can't buy them and you can't boss them. You can't tell Trump what to do. Mm-mm. And you're going to be able to do the same thing with Oprah. That's only, in my opinion, the only formidable candidate that I can see who would be able to stand there flat-footed and box against Trump. Furthermore, these the staunch politicians, they are afraid of Trump, both on the left side and the right side of the aisle. They are afraid of the man. I've always said, you ought to fear somebody who don't even fear itself. Trump ain't afraid of nothing. He's not afraid of consequence or he's not afraid of nothing. And so you don't have to.
He's an old rich white man.
About a man, you got to be leery of a man who visibly and audibly lets you know, I'm not scared of you. I'm not. And so it's probably the only other person. I like Don. What's that name? Warren. I like her, but I just don't think she can beat Trump. I like Kamala Harris. I don't think she can beat Trump. It is
really?
It is. Yes.
Yes.
I'm comes out with some major points. I mean, and the only other person that I'm thinking that might be the only other person I can see that ain't afraid of Trump is April Ryan. I mean, April want to see Trump with the hands. I think she just want to go toe to toe. Let us see.
She just want to throw hands.
Yeah, April like, look, I'm sick of you. Show me that. Show me that hands, Trump. And look, people will be caught out of Trump, yo. I'm telling you. So that's my point on that, Sam. I understand that, if you don't have as you can imagine, these rich folks have a better grasp on international relations than many of the politicians, because a whole lot of their work and their partnerships are from these lands and places that we know not of. I mean, you got a school or schools in places where some people, let's go there. In what kind of country? Where does a school at?
Oprah School?
Right, and yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part. You said what?
Oprah School is in what kind of country? Trump said the other day.
Oh, yeah. So, her school, the school that she built, is in also one of those shithole countries, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he just basically called the whole continent of Africa. Well, basically, no, forget that. He called black people shitholes. Let me tell you why.
People.
Let me tell you why.
Black people.
Please tell me, tell me, what does Africa and Haiti have in common? They're two separate continents, two separate hemispheres.
Yeah.
Two separate, you see what I'm saying? The only thing they have in common is their people.
Well, no, let me add something else to that, Mr. Brown. Let me add something else to that. No, historically, they have much more than that in common, in that they, historically have rebelled against whiteness, century after century. So you have a strong group of people that when they get tired and get fed up, they make things happen. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
Now, am I giving Trump credit for knowing history? Absolutely not. But we all know that the darker your skin, the more fear you evoke because of white folks' xenophobia. So that's what that is.
Right.
And you think about the places where he wants the people to come from, Norway, one of the conservative leaders in Norway simply said, But no thanks.
Yeah, this is so crazy to me, and it's like now everybody is like, now he's racist. Now it's official. He is a racist. Now those of us who know better knew he was racist back when he demanded President Obama's birth certificate, right?
I just thought he was an idiot and a fool. I just thought he needed something to do. And that just lets me know that your own personal business, you need something to do. When you get bored easily, what do? You go messing with people, messing with stuff that you don't have any business messing with. So that's what to me, that's how I read that foolishness right there. But this act here and the act in Virginia with, was it Charlottesville, with the KKK and all of those things, that right there solidified his racist tendencies.
Man, Trump's racism extends, as you guys can imagine, deep and wide. I'm sick of even saying name. I got that's one of my life, Dr. Passa, who in 2018 I have committed to not even saying their name, right? Because you don't want to keep speaking negativity, you know. And I keep saying his name, bringing about negativity in my positive world. And I'm trying to stay positive. I got a toddler fooling at my door, so I'm going to go on break and figure out what the issue is. You're live at the Breakfast Table with Pastor Jack. We'll see you in a minute.
You're listening to Positive Power 21, Christian media on late night radio.
Hey family, this is Paula G. Voice with the Quiet Storm Devotion. You are in a season of your life, and it's a place that you've never been before. It's a place that requires a leap of faith, and as you take this leap of faith into this uncharted territory that has been placed before you, you realize that you are on the threshold of discovery. Like Christopher Columbus, you have arrived on the shores of a new world, and for you, it is called your destiny, your purpose. How do you know this to be true? How do you know that you have arrived on the shores of your destiny, your purpose? Well, God has confirmed it simply by opening the door. He has confirmed it by allowing you to wash upon the shores of this place in your life. I bet you never could have imagined that you could do what it is He has called you to do. But you know what they say. With Him, all things are possible, and indeed they are. But I know sometimes the doubt may set in and you ask yourself, is this a leap of faith or a leap of foolishness? Who? Me? Can I do this? What if I fail? What if no one believes in me? But you want so much to be set free, free from the bondage that holds you back from doing what you are called to do, free from the day-to-day monotony, from procrastination. My beloved, God has placed so much inside of you that sometimes your spirit feels trapped in expectation of others, trapped in a Lifetime movie where the rewind button is stuck and there is no way for you to move forward. And as each day plays like the day before, you see everyone else's world moving forward into new chapters, new visions and new dreams, all being fulfilled. Now, this may be your season to shine. It may be your season to make changes. It may be your season to rest. It may be your season to step into your purpose, your destiny. It may be your season to learn what you need to learn in order to step into your purpose. This may be your season of greatness, or it may be your season to just be patient. It may be your season to discover yourself, a season to step back, evaluate, and make changes. You may not know how to make the changes you want to make, or you may be satisfied where you are. But somehow you need to be set free, free from the bondages that are holding you back from doing what it is you desire to do and what you are called to do. Whatever that bondage is, break it. You have to take a leap. Whether it is a leap of faith or a leap of foolishness, either way, my beloved, you must leap. Be encouraged. This is Paula G. Voice with the Quiet Storm Devotion.
I turned around, I see you standing there. I looked into your eyes, I see you love me still. So I come running to your arms. You still love me, you don't see my wrongs, you look past them, and your grace holds me now. You still love me. Jesus, I hear your heart. It beats like mine. I'm overwhelmed with joy inside that you would accept me like I am. You still love me. You don't see my wrongs. You look past them, and your grace holds me now. You still love me. Oh, what a wonderful Savior. It's your love that amazes me. You took me back and forgave me. You reached out just to comfort me. Now I'm safe in your arms again. I'm captivated by your love for me. It's your love, it was there. Only you showed that you cared. So I ran into your arms. You still love me. You don't see my wrongs. You look past them, and your grace holds me now. You still love me. Run into your arms. You still love me. You don't see my wrongs. You look past them, and your grace holds me now. You still love me.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Table Live with Pastor Jack and friends. Good morning again. The emergency that I had to put out, if you guys needed to know, was my son had broken something on my daughter's toy, and he came to report it as it broke itself. And when I mentioned that he had broken it, or one of them broke it, face, an uplifted voice exclaimed, "The koi did it." So I know that I'm not going to fix it because he broke it. And that was my emergency. I'm glad that I have the ability to handle it. But good morning again. Dr. Proctor, tell me. The president calls several brown nations, countries, shithole countries. Why? So why? And he denied that I see a report. And then most recently, yesterday, he found himself, Thursday night, he found himself reaching out to members of his cadre, those who help to keep their ears to the base to determine if his comment would help or hurt him in that area. So that's what we are. I don't even know what's going on with that.
I think that's the $1 million question. I don't know if I have language to capture that level of, again, foolishness. The fact that this man blatantly and without penalty, meaning personally, morally, whatever, get away with this type of commentary is amazing. I don't have language to capture that foolishness and how he is not immediately, why the entire Congress is not calling for his job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you cannot offend. Okay, so I don't know if white people know this or not, but they really are the smallest population on the planet. So it's like you cannot offend. Let's just say it's 10 to 90. You cannot offend 90% of the world just because you're in that 10% and you feel that 10% is where the power lies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know if I have language. As a matter of fact, I don't for that level of foolishness, without using expletives. So, I think that this is a Christian show. I'm a Christian. The two of y'all are Christians. So, I really don't want to go back to my unpolished, ratchet days of small vocabulary. But it's kind of like, bleep, bleep, bleep. That's the only thing you can use to describe this. And it's like... Exactly. Like I would really have to get my black girl on and my finger in the air, all of that, because it's just that ridiculous. And that type of response that he evokes in me is appropriate, believe it or not, because it's just that ridiculous and that offensive. And it's almost like because nobody's doing anything about it, it says to people of any color, people with melanin in their skin, you really don't matter at the end of the day because this man is in a position to where he is showing you white privilege at its best and at its worst, and there's not a thing you can do about it. And that's how he is running his administration. If you look at any of the photos that were taken, yesterday and the day before yesterday, what is his posture? What is his position? Arms fold, which means I'm not even open to what you have to say. Eyes
right.
Squinted, like, how dare you look at me and say anything to me? And his lips poked out like, really?
Right.
I can just bomb the crap out of y'all. I have the code. Right. And it's just like, what do you say to that? What do you say?
Well, you don't say. You don't say. And the problem is, because so many of his people in this cadre are not saying, they now must find themselves words to defend or make some type of case for this demagogue, this type of racism that just doesn't. I just don't understand it. But
Clarence, Mr. Jackson, this is what happens when you don't vet people for positions. Okay, so you go on. He said, she said. He knows, we know. We think, they thought. And now we know, okay? And it's too late.
Now everybody's so he's a racist. Listen.
And now we want to distance ourselves from him because why? We're in an election year and we know we are about to get our butts whipped. Thank you, Trump.
30-plus Republican, senators or Congress people have mentioned that they're not going to seek re-election in key election states and territories. And so, in this election, I was watching. I've been watching MSNBC and CNN and Fox News from one TV to the next. The kitchen is on CNN and the living room is on Fox and the bedroom is on MSNBC because I need to get it all right. But as I'm hearing some of the commentary, I'm learning that you have these liberal, and this is oxymoronic, but these liberal conservatives who are saying, hey, we'll push him out by 2020. But then you have the leftist liberals, I got to put it that way, because what I mean by that is those who are very liberal. They're saying that this election year is what matters, 2018. I believe both to be true, but what I do believe is that if we don't get a Republican cadre of elected officials who are willing to stand firm to just being a true patriot of what this country means and what we are, the values that we were built on, because the truth of the matter is all of us were either, not all, let me take that back, everybody except the African population was brought from a shithole country. It was only the Africans
who were brought from a land that was flowing with all of the necessary resources that the world can live upon. And so like one lady said on MSNBC, she said, we weren't brought from a shithole country, we were brought to a shithole country. And so here we are having to deal with the ramifications of a journey that we didn't even want to be a part of.
Mr. Jackson, can I change that up just a little bit?
Yeah.
To be blunt with it, since y'all want me to just be who I am, which I will always be the woman I tell y'all I am, what was brought from those countries was the shit, okay? So they came from a hole, and they were the shit that was in the hole, okay? So let's just be blunt with it. So it was the shit that came over here, and depended on people with some sense or people who invented thinking to help them thrive, okay? So let's call it what it is. No, the people who came over here were not wanted anywhere, not even by their own.
Thank you.
So that's what I mean by the shit. So you were the shit that floated across the sea, and you just happened to hit a landmass and said, damn, here we are. What we going to do now? What else going to do now? That's all that was.
That's exactly what I am.
So pardon me breaking code and professionalism, but that's what it is. So that's the page of history that people want to flip over. They were the illiterate. They were the people who were, worthless. They weren't productive, citizens of society. No one cared about them.
Right.
No one cared about those people, their well-being, or anything.
Right.
So you got people who come from
and just sailed west.
Thank you, but you got people of color who come from legacies of Toussaint Louverture, and Shaka Zulu, who understood the art of war. They understood that when you enlarge in your circle, that you don't treat the people that you take over like they are nothing. You bring them in and acclimate them to your own culture. Those types of things. That's the legacy of these people that we come from. I don't mind people knowing that I'm black. If you don't know that by now, I'm very black. But, they don't have those stories to tell. There's no comparison between a Shaka Zulu and a Napoleon. Okay, their thought processes are not even the same. Okay, on a totally different level when you go tit for tat. So that's, again, that fear. He's acting out of fear, and it's translating as power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anytime you fear something, you want these legislation to change and want to put stuff in place because this is what I fear.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the plan? I mean, you know what? Because what else is there to say? Our job.
It reminded.
Huh?
No, I was going to say it reminded me. I got to take it to church. When Paul asked the question, what then shall we say to these things? If God be for us,
Mama,
who can be against us? So
and the question is very simple. Who? It's almost like bring me somebody.
Right. And I just think that it is. It's time for us to. It's time for us to get to work. We can talk, and I know we're not. I know the three of us aren't the only ones having this type of conversation, and I know that on this call, the three of us are voters. But I think that our entire community, and when I say community, I mean all people of color, because white people are the minority in the whole world, but the reason why they have the power is because they've done such a good job of keeping everyone else divided.
Absolutely.
So I think that this type of rhetoric, I hope that now this actually drives us together, right? At least in this nation, and since he made the comment about the shithole countries, I hope it does globally, and hopefully us really make an impact when we go to the voting polls in November and get his butt out of here by January.
By January.
So that's all I was going to say. All we need is the numbers in Congress to file the articles of impeachment, and it's over. That's all we need.
Well, let me add this to Mr. Brown and Mr. Jackson. What I feel is brilliant, if I can use that word without paying for it when I close my eyes for the last time, about this man is that he has put the people who are part of the Republican Party and those who are your conservatives, that are in the, Democratic Party and, all of this stuff, he's put them on blast. Because it's like, okay, if this is what you don't believe, then prove it. If you don't believe what I'm saying here and you don't stand with me behind closed doors, and this just happens to be something that got out, prove me wrong. Prove me that my sentiment is not yours too. So really, they're the ones with the work to do. Because he's called them out. Said, I said what you were thinking and the way you've been behaving. Don't get upset because now the chickens have come home to roost.
Absolutely.
So, if you understand, if that makes sense of what I'm saying. It's like, we got the good old boy, club here, and they let out the secrets, the handshake, the bylaws, the call.
Right.
The only people who are from within the circle are supposed to know.
Yeah. They told us the secret.
Yeah.
He did it.
Pastor. Yeah. I wanted to before we got off the call, just so we can celebrate real quick. Dr. Proctor, would you share with us, I think we've given Mr. Trump enough of our energy. Just on a positive note, would you let us know what this, you have something to celebrate, Dr. Proctor. I don't want to steal your fire. Let us know. It's a grant that you were awarded at Claflin University, a university that does accept students from these shithole countries, right?
Yes, plenty of them.
Yeah. So tell us about this huge grant you all got there at Claflin.
Okay, so I was brought on to a team of people who were writing a grant for from Mellon, who is a strong supporter of the humanities. So please, I have to let you all understand how big this is, because most of the grant dollars goes to STEM. So to get a grant of $500,000 written and, have that grant funded, because people write grants all day, but we want to know which ones that you get funded. The ones that are funded for us to do an overhaul of the general education requirements so that we can infuse workplace competencies in there to ensure that if you don't make it past your sophomore year, that you will have learned through your gen ed requirements enough to get a job.
Whoa.
And to keep that job.
Whoa.
So that will be pretty much under my leadership, because, they would not, and I had to toot my own horn, they would not have gotten that grant funded had they not brought me on. And they knew that.
Call it what it is.
Because the first iteration of that grant, it fell flat. But when they put me on it, and I keep telling people, when God has you on assignment and you don't acknowledge his greatness through the people he sends you, you will not move forward. You will not. So it wasn't until they put me on that grant, and I'm talking about we rewrote that grant under my leadership and direction in 2 days and got it funded.
I wonder if the producers can give us a round of applause for Claflin, Dr. Herschel Proctor Walden, and her leadership in this direction. I'm sure we got it in there.
Thank you. But thank you. But Mr. Jackson and Mr. Brown, I have to, again, take it back to you all. It's because of students that I've had don my door, such as the two of you all, that keep me inspired to do the work that I do, because this money is not for me. It's not for me. The work I do is not for me. I use what I have to empower and enhance the lives of people around me. So it's you all's faces and the kindness that you've shown me and the success that you all have past graduation that keeps me motivated to say, okay, we don't normally get this kind of money, but let me try. I haven't tried to get this kind of money, and I know what I know, and I know what drives me, and I know that I walk in his greatness. So let me put this greatness down on paper and let somebody else see it. So it's undeniable that we need to give this woman this money so that she can go ahead and do her thing with these students over here. Thank you. So it's because of you all. Y'all motivate me and inspire me.
Oh, please. I know. I look back on my college tenure and I can literally say I was no walk in the park. So I appreciate your patience with me. I know. Damn. Don't leave me hanging out on this by myself. I know.
Yeah, I know I was a piece of work.
Let me tell you, that boy thought. I would walk away and say to myself, "Who do you think you are?"
And then you come back to class and see, oh, she the same.
That was a wonderful change. This is a great way to end our show. I was wrestling with what word would I send to our listeners. And here's the word that God gave me. Matthew 9:20 and 21 says like this. Just a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. And she said to herself, if only I can touch his cloak, I will be healed. I'll talk real quick using as a subject, wise woman. Real quick, I don't have time to go into a real deep introduction in the interest of time. So let me just give you 3 points. A wise woman, first of all, she's a woman of patience. As you know, this woman here, the Bible says that she was smart and that she had a disease for 12 years. She was willing to go to doctors and other places in order to get a healing, but none of it worked. But she was still willing to try, even after having lost all the money, all of her resources, and was kicked out of the community. She still said to herself, if I could just get to the one who can make it all better, I know that he'll make me well. I don't know who it is this morning who's been trying to push God in a direction that he's not willing to go. But if you just wait and be patient, I don't know if it'll take a year, 12 minutes, or 12 years, but however long it takes, stay patient. Now, she was a woman of perspective. It was uncommon to think that a touch would help her. How foolish would she be to think that she had been bleeding nonstop for 12 long years? How unfortunate would she have felt if she got there and the touch she thought would help her actually didn't help her? But her perspective showed a sense of humor. She was funny to me because she knew that despite where she was in her life, she said, I was still going to go. She could have been killed. She could have been used as a pawn for other political regimes. But instead, she went out into the public. Using her perspective, she knew that I can't walk over to Jesus. Using her perspective, she knew that she couldn't drive or ride a donkey over to Jesus. She knew that in order for her to get to him, she had to get down real low and crawl to him and get to past all the other folks who were standing over top of her. I don't know who it is we're talking to this morning in this regard, but sometimes you got to go low. Sometimes your perspective can't be lofty and high. Sometimes you've got to be willing to go down real low in prayer, in worship, in fasting, in humility, in order to see what God is trying to say. Finally, she was a woman of perseverance. She decided not to give up. She chose to keep going. I could feel from Dr. Proctor Walker, in the midst of having never received the grant of that magnitude, she decided not to give up. And in 2 days, what took some people longer, she was able to make do of something that somebody else was not able to do. You have to have a sense of perseverance. She persevered despite her ailments and her illness. Some of us, like me, have stopped doing the things that you need to be doing because of your illnesses and your ailments. I encourage you this morning to turn over a new leaf and persevere past your pain, persevere past your problems, and persevere even in praise. There's a story told about Forrest Gump. You know, this is my favorite story. You guys are probably going to hear the story of Forrest Gump 100 more times this year, so get used to it. There's a story told about Forrest Gump. Forrest dies, and ultimately gets to heaven. When he gets there, he's greeted by St. Peter, and St. Peter says to him, Forrest, heaven has been filling up so rapidly that there's now an entrance exam that you must pass in order to get in. So Forrest says, well, I've been running for Jesus most of my life, and so I think I can pass an entrance exam in order to get into heaven. So Forrest says to St. Peter, what's the first question? Peter says, Forrest, the first question is, which 2 days of the week begin with the letter T? And Forrest thought for a moment, and he said, well, this is easy. I can get this one. So Forrest said, the 2 days of the week that begin with the letter T is today and tomorrow. Now, that was not the right answer, but it was an acceptable answer, and so Peter was forced to move on to the second question. So he said, Forrest, the second question is, how many seconds are in a year? Forrest thought for a moment. He asked Peter, can I come back with my answer? Peter said, sure, take as much time as you need. We have all eternity. Forrest comes back this time. He's leaping and he's dancing. He's jumping and he's counting on his fingers. And he's excited. And so Peter brings him up on the line. He said, Forrest, do you have an answer for me? He says, yeah. He said, there are at least 12 seconds in a year. He says, well, how are there 12 seconds in a year? There are 12 seconds in a year because it's January 2nd and February 2nd and March 2nd and April 2nd and go all the way down to December 2nd. Now, that was not the right answer, but it was an acceptable answer. And so Peter was forced to move on to the final question. Now, nobody ever got this question right. But he decided to give it to Forrest anyway because he thought he wanted to hear what Forrest had to say. He said, Forrest, the final question is, what is God's first name? Forrest thought for a moment, but he didn't have an immediate answer, so he asked again, can I leave and come back? And he did, but this time he came back a couple of weeks later. He wasn't leaping, he wasn't dancing, he wasn't laughing, and he was not jovial. This time he was wailing and weeping. He was crying, and he was laying prostrate, and he could barely make it himself. And Peter saw him in the back of the line and had angels bring him to the front, and he lifted him up and said, Forrest, have you got an answer for me? He said, sure, I do. Peter said, well, what's the answer? He said, well, God's first name, it has to be Andy. Now Peter thinks Forrest is playing, and he's beckoning angels to drag him out of heaven. Forrest is telling, wait, I can explain. Peter says, Forrest, you got one chance to explain how is God's first name Andy. He said, well, it's quite simple. When I was younger, my mama would get together, Dad was nowhere to be found. We didn't have everything that everybody else had. I had these braces on my legs. Everybody made fun of me. We didn't have a whole lot of food, and I didn't have a whole lot of clothes. And the only woman I loved, she didn't love me back, but Mama would give me a bath and make me a meal and then put me in bed. But I'd sneak out of my bedroom, look in the kitchen, and I'd hear Mama singing as she would sit at the table next to the lantern reading the Bible. I'd hear Mama singing an old song, and the song simply said, Andy walks with me. Andy talks with me. Andy tells me that I am his own. I don't know who it is this morning. Your perseverance will remind you that Andy walks with you. Your patience will remind you that Andy talks with you, and Andy tells you that you are his own. You've been on live with Pastor Jack at the breakfast table, and friends, God bless you. Take you.
Free I've been beat down, I've been dragged down by the tricks of the enemy, trying to take me out ever since they found out what God had for me. But you won't win and you won't steal my joy, no more. He died for me on Calvary, that's why I know I'm free. I know who I am, I know who I be. I'm no longer held in bondage, Jesus set me free. I know who I am, I know who I be. I'm no longer held in bondage, Jesus set me free. No more of your deceit, no more of your lies. Your chains can't hold me down. In Christ I will rise. No more of your deceit, no more of your lies. Your chains can't hold me down. In Christ I will